Hey, it's the Animal Crossing Podcast, Episode 2. I'm your host, N64 Josh, with...
N64 Jen.
And we're going to try to answer that question yet again. What is Animal Crossing? This is going to be part 2 of what is Animal Crossing. And we're going to get into some stories about the first game. I know we kind of did that in the last one, but we actually have some pretty fun stories that we're still going to tell. So let's ask the question again. What is Animal Crossing? And we have a few notes this time. What do we have? What do our notes say?
It is a relaxing life simulator with a focus on collecting, decorating, gardening, and so much more.
And so much more. What makes it fun? Because it sounds like work, right? Like this is the hard thing with Animal Crossing. This is the hard pitch. Hey, you get to move into a town, get a mortgage, and start paying it off. What? I get bills?
We do that already.
Yeah. Why is this fun? You know. So, why is it fun?
It's a great question. Really, I don't know. It really is though. It's relaxing. It is. It's just fun to go at your own pace and just explore the town, explore the people, and all the things that you can do and the conversations you can have. I love being able to collect things and always have something to do and to find and to sell or donate or...
I think one of the draws for sure is that you can play the game how you want, right? So like when it came to the first game, there was only so much stuff you could do, right? And then I was listening to somebody talk about Animal Crossing. They were kind of going over the same question, like what is it? But they were talking about how they had to share a town, and they would go and dig up all the fossils, all the gyroids, everything before their significant other could. So then when they would go to play, there's like, what do I have to do? Like,
yeah.
What do I have to do?
That's not cool.
Right? But like one of the things that I got to thinking about, because you can play how you want, right? So I like to just try to build my house up as fast as I can. Get that's my goal. Like, how can I earn money as quickly as possible to pay off my house, expand it to its final stage, and then I will start focusing on like. And while I'm doing that, I'm still like working on my museum, getting fossils, catching fish. A lot of times that's going to be where the income source is fish and bugs, right? And fossils. Fossils end up being a good source of income, like we mentioned in the last episode. But I want to take a second and talk about like so our kids have all played this,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And if you and I, if we're playing it, and a villager, one of the townspeople comes up and says like, "Hey, I want you to come to my house at 4 p.m." We're just kind of like, oh, okay, all right. I guess we'll do this. It may end up getting you a piece of furniture or something. But when this would happen with our daughters,
yeah, they'd set timers and make sure that they were there. And if they weren't there, they were very upset.
Exactly. Yeah, this was a very important thing to them. It was like these are my friends in this game.
Yeah.
And so it really can be played how you want, and how you find enjoyment is going to be that we can't really answer, right? Yeah. That's kind of like when I said, "Why is this game fun?" And you're like, I don't even really know how to. It really is just however you can have fun with what the game offers. There's so much you can do, right? And in the newer games, they even have multiplayer where you can do little mini games. It's almost kind of like mini games from like Mario Party or something in a way. Like,
yeah, some of them are, but again, depending on your age and your interest, like our kids love just visiting each other's towns and playing hide and go seek. And so that wasn't even built in the game. That's just something they created.
Exactly.
And I actually take that back. And one of the games you could play with hide and seek with your neighbors. You could set a timer.
That's right.
And they would come, you'd have to go and try and find them. But that aside there's, I think, different parts, like different times of the day when I play. First thing in the morning, if I wake up, you have your business you have to take care of. And so whether that's working for Nook at the time or just wanting to make money and pay off some loans or whatnot. But then in the evenings when we would play, I tend to just want to go to the island and fish or hunt bugs and at night. And so I think that kind of depends to what time of day you want to play. If you just want to chill and fish, like that's so much fun, and can pass a lot of time just fishing and diving and whatnot. So
yeah, so much to do. Get your fruit trees, collect all the shells off your beach.
Yeah, I mean, really. And then also, by the time you water all your plants, like there's so many choices, like you don't, again, have to do all this stuff. But if you want to, there's a lot of things to keep you busy. None of it's like, you're going to die or anything, like your town goes on. It's, you don't have to play every day, but it is fun if you want to. There's lots to keep you busy.
That's a really good point. It's not a game where you're getting a weapon and you're going on like an adventure. At least it hasn't been. Who knows what the new one can hold? We don't know. But the only way you could die in this game is if a scorpion stung you, and I think if the tarantula bit you, and you just wake up in your house and it's like no big deal. It's not like you lose a life or something like that. So. But that's one of the biggest draws about this game for me is like a lot of times I play fairly competitive games or games that are maybe a little more on the difficult side or things like that. And I'm always leaning forward when I play, right? Like I'm really focused and like I'm still having fun. Don't get me wrong. Like I love playing Smash like competitively. But Animal Crossing is a sit back. Like you get to relax and it's just the music and everything. Like it's just relaxing.
Yeah.
It's just relaxing.
It's like a key element to even our vacation. Like I could play Animal Crossing any night, but there's something about being on vacation and looking forward to that. And like, I know that's just what we're going to do at night on the deck is turn the game on and the music. And I don't know. It's just fun. Yeah.
And like, just to give you guys a little bit of insight where we go on vacation, it's basically in the mountains or right at the base of the mountains here in Washington. And there's like zero light pollution, right? You see falling stars. So you're watching falling stars in the game and then you're seeing them in real life. And we'll go a year without touching New Leaf, like since it's been out for so long. But you better believe that as soon as summertime hits, we're all playing Animal Crossing again.
Yeah.
There's just something about it. Like whether we're on vacation or we're here at home, it's like, hey, let's go hit the loungers and, but waiting for the stars to show up, we'll play Animal Crossing. We'll head to the island and just collect bugs and then, turn those in and sell them. And so the other factor in what makes it fun is just, there's so much to collect. There really is so much to collect. And so, I think, you've talked about trying to beat the game, right? Like by beating the game by collecting everything. And I'm just like, that's so daunting of a task. Like I can't even imagine. And the thing is like with like New Leaf and even Wild World, I believe or maybe it was just New Leaf. I can't remember, but I think Wild World was also, you could go to like these Nintendo like hotspots or whatever and get like a specific item. Right. And those have kind of phased out now, but like, Japan has some exclusive items that we don't have and it may be vice versa. I'm not really sure, but I mean, you would go into like what Toys R Us with all three kids and you're trying to get with three of the kids.
And like the kids are too little to be playing and they didn't know what they were doing. So I had to like pretend like I was helping them with their game. So I didn't look silly. And it was just me trying to get my game. I'm trying to keep them all happy. And like, I don't even remember the process, but it was a little time consuming. I think I made a few trips there to get something. Gosh.
The things this game will make you do.
Yeah, right. It's true.
Beware. So, but, and I mean, and the escapism is another factor. And like we said, with like going on vacation and things like that, but like it's just kind of like it's one of those games you can just really lose yourself in. Like time just flies by when you're playing it, and so, and I've heard and I've seen people in my Discord and things like that mention like, like this is not a game for me. And like, part of the reason for us doing this show is I I want to basically do a good pitch for Animal Crossing, right? Because not because I get nothing from it, but this is a game that I enjoy so very much, and has, I mean, as you're going to hear, we're going to talk about the first game. We have so many memories tied to this because it's like it's one of those things that like we've just spent many. It's nice because you don't have to disconnect from everybody while you're playing it, right? There's many times that like, 4 or 5 of us in the house, us and the kids, we would all be sitting down in the living room, maybe have something on the TV, but we were all in our towns, or we were all visiting somebody, or we were helping somebody, like we'd have to help our daughters weed their towns or clean up garbage because they would just have stuff everywhere, right? And so we would do little work parties or things like that, or just go and fish together, go catch bugs together, and it's one of those things that you can still have a conversation while you're doing it. I think the biggest factor for people is when they finally get hooked, then it's like, well, I need my own Switch.
Yeah.
Right? I don't want to share the town right now because I want to be playing right now if you're playing. And so this recently happened. We're going to throw your sister under the bus.
Oh, naming names.
So no, we won't name any names, but we recently picked up a new Leaf for our 6-year-old niece. And for her brother, we got Mario Maker because that's what he picked. He gave him the choice and he wanted Mario Maker. So but our niece is starting her town for the first time. Well, she needed mom to help. Now, we've told mom about this game.
Yeah, I've tried to get my sister to play forever, and it's always been like, oh, that looks cute, that's fun, but never tried it, never played until now.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the messages that you've been receiving.
I'm going to get in trouble if she ever hears this.
That's okay.
Oh, goodness. Well, first of all, my sister, who usually goes to bed at a decent hour, messages me late at night to inform me she's still fishing. Like, hey, you're still awake? Yeah, I'm fishing. Leave me alone.
Get a picture of the 2DS.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, and so then asking for a friend, she wanted to know if she could have a separate town or her own house or whatnot. And for a friend, of course, she doesn't need to know. Right. So, but yeah, there's been a few nights she's been up playing after the kids have gone to bed and having fun with it, I think.
But I mean, she's known about this game since the first one.
Yeah.
Like we've
shown her.
And they had DSs back when Wild World, and it never she didn't try it.
Yeah.
And then once she tried it, she was hooked.
Right.
She was hooked. And don't get me wrong, it's not going to be for everybody, right? I totally understand that. But like at the very least, give this game a shot because it's one of those games, like I said, you can just lose yourself in it and you don't have to you don't have to be so like just like I said, leaning forward and being, it's not competitive. It's just relaxing and fun. Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it is.
The first game, we talked about getting it, right? We talked about kind of starting our towns, things like that. There's a few other stories. So some of you guys, if you've listened to any of my other shows or whatever, you're probably gonna have heard some of this stuff. But if you're brand new to us because of this show, Animal Crossing on the GameCube, our son was like 1, toddling around the house. And I don't know if you guys remember, but when this game turns on the GameCube, it goes Nintendo or, whatever. There's different animal voices that say Nintendo. So one afternoon, I fire it up and he's toddling by. He just stops, looks at the TV, says Nintendo, and then goes, and we're like, all he said up to this point was mom and dad. I'm like, your first word's Nintendo? It was like a proud dad moment, right? I don't know that I've ever been any prouder.
Oh my.
And then what did he do after that? It was like,
from then on, he never would say it again. It was like gung gung gung.
Yeah, he would literally just make the 3-syllable sound. He wouldn't say the word again. But just that's something that stuck with.
Yeah.
I mean, because we were literally like shocked. Like he just said Nintendo as like his like first real word, you know?
Yeah.
So that was pretty bonkers.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So here's the other thing. So you're going to hear us talk about my aunt and uncle. We talked about them in the last episode. We'll probably reference them regularly. Once the game comes out, you know, we'll probably be playing with them, and who knows, we might even get them on here. You never know. You never know.
That'd be fun.
It'd be fun. Yeah. So here we are. What is it? 2001? Is that when this game launched? 2001, 2002. Okay. So, just a quick little history on the first Animal Crossing game. It was actually a Nintendo 64 title in Japan. And then, by the time we didn't get it as a 64 title, we got it as the GameCube. And so, it, you know, just, I don't know if it was localization or what, it just took them a while, but they finally made its way here. And so here we are, we've got our GameCube, we've got the game, and I'm talking to my uncle on the phone, and I'm like, okay, you're going to love this game. You get a mortgage and you get to pay bills, you know? And he's just like, this sounds so dumb. So dumb. And so we travel down. We go and see him, and it's a little bit of trek. It's like 3-4 hours. And so we go and visit him, and we get there and we hook everything up, and it was all over.
Yeah.
It was all over. Almost immediately. It was game over. Like what I mean, we sit down, we start playing. She passes out on the couch. It's like we start like in the afternoon, right? By like 11, 12.
Yeah. You play it all night.
Yeah. I remember like, you know, we're getting dinner, and we're still just like, we're catching bugs. We're just doing Animal Crossing. Right. And finally, like 3-4 in the morning, she's passed out on the couch. Him and I, it's just, you know, our faces illuminated from the glow of the television. Everything's dark. And we're still just like, okay, let's catch more fish. Okay, we can store. And we got to the point where like we had my house completely full of all the, because here's the thing, you get fish, and then you would go to Tom Nook and you'd sell, right? Yeah. Well, the store closes.
Right. Yeah, so then you have to stock your house.
So then
full.
You have to stock your house, and all the fish show up in little aquariums.
Yep.
And we finally had packed the house up to where we really couldn't fit anything else in.
That's funny.
Filled the pockets. And then it was like, okay, I think it's finally time to go to bed, right? You know, shook all the trees, got, you know, and then woke up the next morning, same thing, just like sold everything. So now they're completely hooked. They don't have a GameCube.
Right.
They don't have a GameCube. So what they do, Jen?
So this was in the fall. We went down, I think it was like September, October. And then so for Christmas, they decided to get their kids a GameCube, and except for every night after their kids would go to bed, they would pull it out and play Animal Crossing until late at night, and then they'd have to pack it all up and hide it in their room and put it away.
Yep.
Until Christmas. And they did this, I think, for at least a month or so.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they got everything Black Friday.
Yeah.
So right after Thanksgiving, I remember they got I believe it was the Platinum GameCube, Animal Crossing, right? And I think it was the kind of thing like they got the kids, the GameCube, and then I think they got their daughter like a TV VCR combo, right? Because it's still back in the still back in the day, and I think they actually hooked the TV up in their room to play the GameCube. So they were using the gifts for a month ahead of time before they gave it to the kids. Because I mean, like I said, as soon as he tried it. Right. And I mean, look, this is the guy that I played Perfect Dark with. This is the guy that I played GoldenEye with, like, Turok, games like this. And like I said, he thought I was out of my mind recommending this game. He's just like, what is this? What is this? And, completely hooked. And I remember like what was so cool when we finally had somebody else that had the game, you could visit each other's towns just by bringing your memory card and sticking it in slot B of the GameCube. So then you could visit then what would happen if you were there? Well, then maybe somebody from your town would be like, hey, I'm going to go move to their town now.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of thing would happen.
Right.
The other thing that was cool is like, if they had, you know, when your town starts, you have one fruit, right? You have the one fruit. And then if they have a different fruit, it's actually worth more money. So then you go through and you want to plant more trees of the newer fruit, of the different fruit. You know, and you want to try to get all the different fruit, and your mom in game might send you a letter that has, you know, fruit in it or something. And so it was exciting to have somebody else where like, hey, we need this. Do you have any of this? And we live so far apart and the GameCube wasn't online, but you could actually write a letter and then it would give you a code. And then, he would call me. He'd be like, hey, write this code down. I write it down. I would input it into the GameCube. And then I would have that letter from him with the fruit in it, you know, and I'm sure he said something inappropriate to me or whatever, just because, you know, that's how we do. Right. And so like, it was so crazy at the time.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. So one of the things I thought would be kind of fun, because this isn't something we get to do anymore. And I'll do my best to make sure this comes through well over audio, but I have the Animal Crossing game case in front of me right now. I'm holding it up to the camera. And, by the way, if you're wondering why there wasn't footage of us last time, is because I accidentally erased all the video. So, sorry about that. But yeah, so I have the instruction booklet, right? So this thing's been read a few different times. It's pretty hammered. There's the corners are a little torn up and whatever. And I love the artwork. I love the cover of this game. You know, it says welcome to Animal Crossing, population growing, right? And so you open it up, and the first thing here is the welcome to Animal Crossing. So I was going to read that to you guys. And it says, are you ready to strike out on your own and lead an independent life? In Animal Crossing, you can do exactly that amongst animals. Time passes much like it does in the real world. Seasons and holidays come and go, and the trees change color. It rains, it snows. So what are you waiting for? Pack up your things and get ready to start a new life. Right. And then it goes on, and it talks about, you know, playing for the first time and what to do. And, you know, even just, I'm holding it up right now. If you guys are just listening, you're obviously not seeing it, but like, I love old instruction booklets, right? It's got the controller and it's showing you how to play and, you know, things like that, going, you know, how to use the keyboard, you know, how to run, how to pick up items, all this stuff. I mean, just the basic stuff that you would see in an instruction manual. But as I was going through this earlier in the week, I had forgotten about a few things, right? Like we talked about like Game Boy Island and things like that. Well, then you'd use the Game Boy Advance. You'd hook it up to the GameCube, and then you could actually put your island. So here it is. It says cross the ocean and travel to an island, Game Boy Advance. Right. And it was called Animal Island. I don't know if you remember.
I don't
know if you remember that, but it says when you return to your town from the island, you can save your island's data onto your Game Boy Advance. This way you can watch your island's residents while you're away. And so you can kind of see the island. And it's very similar to how it was. There's a little a dock and a few trees, and it looks like a few different bugs. And you could basically play the game on the Game Boy. And so here we go. It says, once you're on your island, take some time to visit your island native, go fishing, catch some insects, and decorate your island bungalow. It's always summer on the tropical island, so it's nice to go there when the weather in your town is bad. And so, you know, you take off to the island and you'd play on the Game Boy. And I believe that's the only place you could get coconuts. Yeah, if I remember correctly.
I think so. I know you can grow them on our beaches now, but I don't know about then.
I think that was it. I think it was, you know, because I remember it kind of being a big deal. Like we tried, you know. Yeah. I think I imported a black Game Boy Advance so that it would match my GameCube. Of course, I couldn't find the cable that would match because it was all purple and gray. I actually tried to get one on eBay today. Oh. The cable. So we'll see. Luck, though, or? Well, I just put in an offer, and I don't know if they didn't see it or they just didn't even reply or what. So we'll find out. But you could actually do, you could trade islands, and you'd have to hook up the like 2 Game Boys to then this other link cable, and yeah, it was kind of crazy. But you could also design stuff on the Game Boy that you could then put into your town. Like you could design different clothing, different different things like that. So the other fun thing that you could do with the Game Boy is you could actually put the old NES games on there, and then you could take them. And I remember loving that because I'm like, I have Punch Out in my pocket right now.
Oh, funny.
But you couldn't turn it off. I think if you turned it off, it would delete the game. So it was like, okay, well, I guess I'll have this for a little while then. But I mean, back then you couldn't even charge those old systems. They were 2 AA's, so yeah. But so lots of good time with the first game. If you're watching this video, I'm hoping to have some footage of the first game going along with it. In the next episode, we are going to be talking about Wild World, I believe. Yeah, we'll be getting into that. We're going to play a little bit of it this upcoming week. Right, we're gonna be playing it, and so we're trying to get up to 5 episodes so we can get this show out on Spotify. Because I know I've had a lot of people already asking me like, when's it on iTunes? I'm like, hey, I'm working on it. I'm just waiting for approval, that kind of stuff. So, once we get 5 episodes, then we can get it up on Spotify and kind of get it out everywhere. So, but we'll keep putting them on YouTube. They're on Podbean right now, and iTunes should be any day. I'm really thinking it's got to be tomorrow, hopefully. So, but next episode, we will talk about Wild World. What was different? What were some of the changes? Right. And just kind of looking back, I have to dig out my town. Yeah. I don't know where it is because I have a handful of I have a few different copies of that game. So I got to find my copy because it's just they're kind of buried right now. So I want to dig that out. But with that, I think we're gonna wrap up here. People can follow you on Instagram and Twitter at N64Gen.
Yes.
Okay. And guys, I'm on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, YouTube, Twitch, everything is at N64Josh. I do stream on Twitch pretty regularly if you want to check that out. I have a subreddit that all of these show notes and everything will be posted to. We are going to have show notes for this podcast. It'll be n64josh.com/ACP2. Episode 2. That'll be the show notes for this episode. If you want to check out any of the links that we mentioned or anything like that, they will be there. So, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really enjoying just the kind of just these conversation shows. So
it's fun.
We will see you guys in episode 3 very soon. Thanks for watching or listening, and we'll see you later. Bye now.